Welcome to Beyond Barriers. I am your host, Craig Coles, and the goal of this show is to introduce you to ideas, people, and perspectives that will hopefully stimulate growth and abundance that will allow you to think and see beyond barriers. Once again, I'm your host, Craig Coles, and today I have a good one for you. I have this one, man, we're going to dig in today, baby. I'm super excited about this one. But before I start, I want to ask you a few questions. And I guess these are questions I want you to ask yourself. One, do you agonize over even the smallest mistakes or flaws in your work? Think about that. Do you attribute your success to luck or outside factors? Like this was because of this, not because of you. And are you sensitive to even constructive criticism? Like, does that bother you? And do you feel like you will inevitably be found out that you are a phony? That is questions I want you to ask yourself. Remember some time ago, right? I want to dig right in. Some time ago, I used to own a sports training facility. And when I owned this sports training facility, I was fortunate enough to train a lot of professional athletes, collegiate, high school, general population, men, women. I've trained thousands and thousands of people in the fitness realm. But one big thing for me is this. I never finished college. I never got a degree in kinesiology. I never got a degree in strength and conditioning. I never even got a bachelor's degree. But yet, I was able to somehow own and operate a 20,000 square foot training facility. How was that? How was that? How was that so? We could talk about being resourceful. We could talk about being relentless. And we could talk about resilience, right? But today I'm going to talk about something a little different. Back in 2005, I started coaching a football team. Some little guys that played out in the West End. Now, mind you, I went to college and I wound up dropping out of college because I just didn't have the work ethic and disciplines that it took to get to where I needed to be on the next level. But we'll talk about that another time. I want to dig directly into these questions that I asked you. So mind you, I'm a spectator of my dreams. I love football, so I'm watching from the sidelines. So I decided to start coaching football. In the process of coaching football, I found out that I have a talent of motivating people and getting them where they need to be at. So one of the things that I started to do was to motivate my teams and focus on fitness. Because I felt like if they had the mindset to go out and play this game at the highest level, and I can condition their body to match it the way they think, then I could create championship teams. So my first year, we didn't make it to a championship. Second year, we made it to a championship. But however, other teams are looking for me to come and coach their kids. Why is this? It's because of the motivation that I was providing and the upbeat, the attitude. So I decided to turn this into a business. At the time, my wife then had said, hey, listen, if you're going to be doing this, we should turn this into a business. And I'm thinking, yeah, no, I just love doing it. By this time now, I'm training on the side. I'm working with kids, just focusing on footwork, agility, all those type of things. I'm fast forwarding this story pretty fast because I want to dig in. So as I began to home in on a skill set of fitness and mindset, I've started making a name for myself. Fast forward, I'm now a strength coach at a high school. Now, mind you, I do not have a degree, but I was so hungry for my passion and what I love to do that I decided to get every certification that I could possibly get underneath the sun to match what I am passionate about. So now that I have all these certifications, I'm a strength coach at a very, very popular school here in Virginia. I get a phone call after being a strength coach there for 3 years. Hey, would you be interested in a position over at another prestigious school, but a military school? Let's think about this. Let's talk about it. Fast forward, I'm over at this school now, prestigious military school. And in this school, what's happening is that I'm really developing a name for myself. But not that, I'm surrounded by a pool of athletes. And so now my skill is starting to home in. I'm really starting to adjust. Now I'm really focusing on movement. I already knew the strength aspect of it, but now it's about functional movement, and it's about the mindset as well. So now we have these guys that's going, college D1 and everything. And so I'm really getting a name for myself. I decided I'm gonna open up a training facility. You can't do that. You don't have a degree. You will never be able to get interns. You won't be able to make this happen because there's a certain protocol that you have to go through if you want to be a strength coach and you're going to own a 20,000 square foot facility. You will have to go through this. You have to have some college behind you. Okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to open up a facility. Resourceful. Where am I going to get this money from? I don't know. I've trained hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids, athletes, and adults. But at this point, how am I going to find investors? Where am I going to, can I do this on my own? Yeah, you can, Craig. You could do it. You could do it. Bottom line, I became resourceful. Now that I'm resourceful, I'm talking to people. I'm finding out where can I pull investors from, who can help support this idea. Right, this is coming together, but it's not quite together. So I have to be relentless at this point. It is going to happen. There is not a doubt in my mind that this is going to happen. I am going to open up this facility. I am already going out, looking at buildings, and I'm just barely got the capital together. Matter of fact, I don't have the capital together, but I'm already looking at buildings. I'm walking into buildings, and then I walk into this one particular building, and this is how in love that you have to be with your passion. I walk into this building, and I automatically walk in this concrete floor, but in my mind, I step on a turf that is going to be laid down. I look to my right, I see the track that's going to be running down the side of the wall. I look in the middle, I see where all of my weight racks are going to be at. I'm looking at the turf, I'm seeing each pole that says gain overall athletic leadership. I see the colors as blue and gold. I see it. I see the walls blue, I see the yellow trim going around it. This building has not been rented. I asked, how much is this going to cost me? X amount of dollars, about $8,000 a month. Oh man, that's too much for me. Is it? Is it too much for you? The question. Let's keep moving with this story. Relentless. All right, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find this money, and this is the building that I'm going to get. I'm going to make sure I have this building. Now that I have this building, now I have to fill this building. Being relentless allowed me to have this building. Being resourceful allowed me to have this building. Now here comes resilience. All right. Yeah, he's not a certified coach in anything. You have all my competition throwing all kind of dirt on my name. Yeah, he doesn't do this. He never graduated college. Resilience. They're pushing me down. But I, in my mind, have to find a way to stand up. So I decided to block all that out and just focus on my passion. I used to tell my wife every day, if I just get the opportunity to train one pro athlete, I'm going to change the world. Just one pro athlete. One pro athlete. I'm pausing for a minute because it's emotional for me, right? Just one pro athlete is all I needed. That turned into way more than one. But it was because I was resourceful. It's because I was relentless. It's because of resilience. Now here we go. I'm moving along. I'm year 3, 4 in. I'm doing great. Business is booming. I'm doing great. Guys are flying in to work with me. I'm developing a name for myself. I've mastered a technique that no other training facilities in this area was doing. And I went way to California just to learn systems, right? I had to learn what worked for me. So now I'm being invited to coaches, clinics. And in these coaches clinics, I used to get extremely, extremely nervous. I used to get really, really nervous. The reason I got nervous is because I attributed my success to luck, right? Same question I asked you. Do you attribute your success to luck or outside factors? Hmm. So I just lucked up. I just happened to know the right people to get in this position. I just happen to know the right investors. I just happen to. Um, are you sensitive to even constructive criticism? Hey man, you should not be training people like the way you train. You should try this approach. Well, no, I learned this system, so this system right here is going to help me do this. It's me. Yeah. Do you feel like you will inevitably be found out that you are a phony? Hmm. Should I be here? Am I really that good? Like, am I that kind of coach? Like, now I'm in these coaching clinics and guys that I used to look up to are asking me questions. But I'm nervous about going to these clinics because I don't believe that I deserve to be here. I feel like I lucked up. Like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Despite that, you know, went to California and trained for months. Despite that, I went to Arizona and trained for months. Despite I spent thousands of dollars going to seminars to sit and talk with coaches. Despite the fact that I went and got every certification for everything that I wanted to do, I just don't feel like I deserve to be here because the stigma is that we are supposed to follow a trend, a system that puts us into a certain place of our passion. But I broke it. But I didn't know that I was breaking it. So I had this thing called imposter syndrome. Do you know what imposter syndrome is? Let me give you the definition of it. It's a psychological occurrence in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, and accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Shit. I have imposter syndrome. I have imposter syndrome. I have this psychological occurrence in my mind that makes me doubt my skills and talents and accomplishments. And it internalized, and it makes me not want to go to coaching clinics because I'm fearful that someone may find out that I'm a phony. This is what the majority of us do in our life. We have what is called imposter syndrome. We have a tendency to push our greatness to the side and focus on the judgment we receive. We have a tendency to not follow our love or our passion because we don't want to seem fake. Well, my question to you is, who the hell you seeming fake to? Because I'm sure the people that are judging you, they probably go through the same exact thing that you go through the same exact shit, as a matter of fact. So where does this come from? Like, how do we come up with this imposter syndrome? Like, this is one of the main things that is holding us back in life from going and pushing to that next level. The fear of being found out that you don't supposed to be here. But who determines where you are supposed to be? Who determines that? Yeah, that's exactly. I can't think of no one myself. I can't think of no one who is fit or in the best position to determine where I'm supposed to be. Now, maybe if you're religious, maybe you want to say God, Jah, Buddha, whoever, but who on this earth determines where you should be at in life? But however, you walk around with imposter syndrome. So I got into trying to figure out, why do I feel like this? And this is when I was introduced to imposter syndrome. So with that being said, I wanted to find out why this is happening and why I feel like this. So I start digging. Trying to figure it out. And so it led me back to my childhood, which most things do lead us all back to our childhood of childhood traumas that we bring to our present time, our moment of now. So I started digging. One of the things that I found amongst so many articles and so many different perspectives, but one of the things that I found out was that many people who have imposter syndrome grew up in families that stress achievement and success. If your parents went back and forth between overpraise and criticism, you may be more likely to have feelings of being a fraud later in life, along with society's pressures to achieve the goals that they say we should be achieving. So let me make sure I got this right. Of course, I'm from Philly, and so my mom, straight Philly. Philly is Philadelphia for some of you who don't know, right? She grew up hard. So guess what? I grew up hard. I grew up hard, right? She tried to give me everything, but she would definitely course correct me. She would definitely course correct me. Some of y'all might say your parents might have hit you with a switch, or I'm older, so I know nowadays you hit your child or something or whatever, you go into prison. But back then, yeah, that wasn't happening. Especially with my mom, Sarah, she was not playing that. So the imposter syndrome grew up in families that stressed achievement and success, and your parents went back and forth between overpraise and criticism. So that's sort of like I would get in trouble for doing something bad, right? And my mom would, I would get, I would get my ass kicked. I would get a beating or whatever, a whooping, whatever you want to call it. We didn't do switches. My mom pulled out the belt and took it to me, right? Which I don't agree with nowadays. But however, she would take it to me and my sister, right? But at the same time, while I'm crying and just got this beating, she would say, "Come here, give mommy a kiss. Come on, just don't do that again. You know what I mean? I gotta fix you. I gotta do this to help you not do this. So give me all these reasons of why my ass is on fire, right?" But damn, then she would tell me, "You could be anything you want to be, Craig. You could do whatever it is you want to do. Just put your mind to it. Don't be scared to do anything." But then she'll do something small. I'm getting chastised. I'm getting that ass whooped again. Where did my imposter syndrome come from? How did I have to break this? How did I have to learn to break this? How do you have to learn how to break it? Do you deal with it? Is it something that's part of your life? Now that you have a definition or clear understanding of it, is it something that you deal with? I remember going to these coaches' meetings. My palms are sweating. I'm nervous. I don't know. I got guys asking me questions. I have guys in there asking me questions to purposely stunt me, just to stop me, to show that without a college degree, you should not be in this realm. And then one day I woke up. I realized what difference does it make what they think? Who cares? This is only their perspective. This is their window. This is what they want to talk about. This has nothing to do with me. Imposter syndrome. So many people deal with this. They deal with it and don't even know that they're dealing with it. How do we fix it? How do we overcome it? What are some things that we have to do to course correct is the word I like to use. Let's course correct on this. Let's learn the facts of whatever it is that we want to work with. Let's learn how to be resilient, right? Let's not run from our failures, but share them. So it helps us break out of this mode of hiding, feeling less than. Let's go off of being our own perfect. Let's create our own perfect. Let's not be the perfect that society wants us to be. Let's be our own perfect. It's a way of fixing it. Um, what about celebrating? What about celebrating our wins? I think that's major. Celebrating your wins, finding out reason to believe why you believe in what you believe. Make it happen. There's different types of imposter syndromes that we have here, and I'm just gonna go over a few. And the reason I'm going over these few is because if it's something that can help you out and help you realize why you are holding back and not pursuing your passion or doing exactly what it is that you want to do, then most likely you're dealing with imposter syndrome. There's the perfectionist. This is the type of imposter syndrome that involves believing that unless you were absolute perfect, you could have done better. You feel like an imposter because you're perfectionist. That trait you have make you believe that you are not as good as you think you are. You do not think you are as good as you think you are because you worrying about judgment. You worrying about what other people think, but you are good. You are good. You have your own thumbprint, fingerprint. You have your own walk, your own gait, your own timing, rhythm of how you blink. You are perfection. But you think that other people are better than you. There are people that are good. There are. But why are you worried about that? Shouldn't you just be worried about your own perfection? Like you were born perfect. You were born perfect. So we have the perfectionist. Then we have the expert who feels like an imposter because they don't know everything there is to know about a particular subject or a topic, or they haven't mastered every step of the process. Come on, bro. The expert. So I'm going to stand still because I haven't really mastered this. So I'm going to hold all this knowledge and not apply it because I haven't mastered this yet. So therefore, I'm just going to stand still. How many of you guys out there standing still? How many of you guys are scared to step up or even scared to speak out because you believe that you may be wrong? You don't feel smart enough. You don't feel like you're that intelligent to speak out. Like, just, I need you guys to come with me on this. This is major because this is why the graveyard is so full of ideas. It's because imposter syndrome. It's the only thing it is. And it's just a mindset that we have. The socialists. It's also impossible to feel like an imposter if you had to ask, for help to reach a certain level of status. The soloist. I apologize. The soloist. The guy who doesn't want to ask for help. This is the guy I was talking to today, and one of my clients. The soloist don't want to ask for help because he feel like by him asking for help, that's a direct attack on his pride. So therefore, he'll suffer by himself, or he will go without because he is the soloist. He doesn't want the help. That's not good, guys. We're a community of people. We are designed to work and help each other. Society has made it seem segregated. But at the end of the day, we're designed to work together. Once again, I started this off with the 3 R's, resourceful. The reason you're resourceful is because you have other means and other peoples and other energies that you can apply to overcome a situation, right? So being resourceful, being the soloist, you can make it work, but I don't know if that's what you really want to do. Do you have Superman? This is the type of imposter syndrome that involves believing that you must be the hardest worker or reach the highest level of achievement possible. And if you don't, you're a fraud. That's a little crazy, right? It's crazy, but it's true, right? We have these situations amongst us all. One of the things that I want you to take away from the show today is this. I want you to, once again, ask yourself those questions. I want you to find out if you are dealing with imposter syndrome. And if you are, then there's only certain ways that we can fix this. There's multiple ways that we can fix this. Do you attribute your success? Write this down. Do you attribute your success to luck or outside factors? 1. 2, are you sensitive to even constructive criticism? Number 3, do you feel like you will inevitably, why am I struggling with that word? Inevitably, we're going to cut this one part out, right? Be found out a phony. And do you downplay your own expertise, even in areas where you are genuinely more skilled than others? I hope you wrote those down. If not, just play it back. But please, If you can answer yes to any of those questions, then you're dealing with imposter syndrome. And if you're dealing with imposter syndrome, then most likely you're not living your best life. You're living a life for someone else. And that's not what we are put on this earth for. We are put on this earth to live your best life. What core beliefs do you have and do you hold about yourself is a question I would ask myself. When it comes to you feeling like you're dealing with imposter syndrome, this is something that I need you to ask yourself. What core beliefs do I hold about myself? Write that down. Do I believe I am worthy of love as I am? Must I be perfect for others to approve of me? These are some questions that I want you to write down for yourself. And anytime you're dealing with that imposter syndrome, I want you to go back to those questions. Or anytime you feel that slight doubt in yourself or you feel like you're nervous, I wanted you to ask yourself that question. And one of the biggest questions that I love is this one. Must I be perfect for others to approve of me? Must I be perfect for others to approve of me? No, you don't. We are our own perfection. We are our own minds, right? So please, if any time you're dealing with imposter syndrome like I have and have done through a good part of my career, but I mastered, but I dealt with it. I didn't know it, but now that I know it, come on, man. Now that I know it, I walk into the room top alpha. And the reason I walk top alpha is because I know this now. And once you stand in your truth, there's nothing no one can take away from you. Once you stand in your truth, it's yours. But then you have to have desire to change anything about that truth you want. To make it beneficial for you and the people around you, you have to have the desire. But more important than that desire, you have to have that discipline. By having that discipline is what changes the game for everything you do. Everything great that you want to acquire or achieve takes discipline. So you have to ask yourself these questions daily if you're dealing with imposter syndrome. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to get that off of my chest because I've dealt with that for so long. And I hope now at this point you have a clear understanding of imposter syndrome and you're able to combat it by asking yourself these questions, knowing where it comes from, and now facing it head on. All you have to do is focus on your truth, your desire, and your discipline, and you can have anything that you desire in this world because it was all designed for you. With that being said, that's the end of my show for today. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. The show is powered by my company, Back to Alpha, helping men achieve levels in their personal, professional, and in their physical being. I am the guy who will help you change your life forever or ever because I've done it myself. I am a living testimony. That being said, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in, thinking beyond barriers. You got to see it, you have to feel it, smell it, taste it, be it, and you can do it. You guys have an awesome, awesome day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.